Yo, what's up guys, it's Lun-Gi. So today I'll be showing you a new variant of Malice. So this is a dragon version of Malice. Features some of the Chaos Dragon monsters. First combo that I'll be showing you is with Dormouse and Chaos Space. First you activate Chaos Space. You can send Dormouse or another dark monster if you have. Then you will add White Dragon Wyver Burster. White Dragon Wyver Burster. Next you will banish Dormouse to summon Wyver Burster. Dormouse will trigger, you pay cost and then you summon it back. And then you will link away Wyver Burster into Striker Dragon. Next you'll trigger Wyver Burster and then you'll search for his brother, Black Dragon Collapse Serpent. And then you'll banish Wyver Burster from the graveyard to summon Collapse Serpent. And then next thing you'll do is you'll banish Chaos Space and you'll put back the Wyver Burster. And then you will draw a card. So we'll just draw a card and then we will link into Celestial Spheres and then we'll trigger Collapse Serpent and we'll just search for the Wyver Burst that we put back. In the OCG they're actually at 3, but you don't need to max them out in this deck, so you can just put it back and then recycle it like you do in the TCG. So next up you'll use your Dormouse. So since you already banished Dormouse, you can't go like the usual route, so you go Rabbit. So we'll just have to take an alternative route, which is to go for Splash Mage. Alright, so you go for Splash Mage. Splash Mage will summon one of your girls back, and then you will go for Red Ransom. Red Ransom will fetch your field spell card, and then we will activate TB11. So banish Ransom and we will special summon Cheshire Cat, and then on the next chain Ransom will come back and banish Dotscaper. Dotscaper will trigger and then summon itself back. So next thing you'll do is you'll link away Dotscaper into Link Decoder, and then you'll use the 3 of them to make White Binder. So you'll make Binder chain link 1, Decoder chain link 2, Link Decoder will summon itself back. A White Binder will banish the Cheshire Cat that you didn't use. So banish Cheshire Cat and then you can banish TB11. Cheshire Cat will trigger and then summon itself back. Next you use Binder's other effects. So you will set GWCO6. So at this point you do have some options at this point. First option is to banish Cheshire Cat. So you can banish Cheshire Cat and then summon this back and gain 23. And then use White Binder and Link Decoder to make Firewall Dragon, and then you can use Underground to banish White Binder. White Binder will summon itself back, and then you can draw a card, and then you can end on Spheres, Live Firewall, and then these two here. So that's your first option. So let's quickly go back. So put this back, Firewall back, Ransom in the grave, and alright, so this is in the hand. Alright, so we did a quick reset. The other option is to activate DWCO6. Banish White Binder, you'll summon back one of your non-links and then gain 1200. And then you'll trigger White Binder, so you'll summon it back, and then you get to draw a card. Then you can turn these into Masquerena. I turn these into Masquerena, and then you can turn these into a Firewall Dragon. It doesn't point to anything for now, but that's not gonna matter. And then last thing you'll do is you can activate Malice Underground, and then you can banish GWCO6 from the graveyard, and then you will end your turn. So this field seems deceptively weak, but there are a number of things that you can do on the opponent's turn. So it's the opponent's turn now. So alright, so they do something. So the opponent does something. You go Seals effect, tribute itself, and then you bounce on one of their face-up cards, and then you'll trigger its graveyard effect. And then the monster that you summon from the deck is Magnamut. So you summon Magnamut from the deck, and then its effect will trigger to search in the end phase. And then when they put another threat on board, you can use Masquerena and Magnamut, and then you can summon SP Little Knight. Target one of their cards and then banish it. Or if you want, you could also banish your own White Binder to trigger its effect. And then you can use Firewall's effect to add this back to the hand. Add Magnamut back to your hand. Yeah, so adding Magnamut back to your hand, it allows you to more freely banish your White Binder, which will allow you to actually banish any important cards that they put in the graveyard. So that's one thing. So alright, at the best opportunity, you activate Magnamut's effect and you banish White Binder, and then you summon it. You already use its effect, so you can go White Binder's effect, summon it, and then draw a card. And then we'll trigger its other effects. Since we only have one space here, so we'll just banish the White Rabbit. We banish White Rabbit, summon it back, Rabbit's effect, and then we will set MTP07. Now when you use SP Little Knight's effect, you want to be banishing Firewall. So you could run away For example, banish both of them and then summon them back, or you can just banish Firewall, banish one of their monsters, and then this will be your last interrupt. So you can banish your White Rabbit and then banish something non-targeting while also searching. So let's imagine they're playing like a very strong deck, and we have to use all of our effects. So we add Dormouse. So just keep in mind that we actually have an extra 3 cards in hand because it was a 2-card combo on top of the cards that we searched and drew. Then we banish something non-targeting. So now in the end phase, Firewall will come back and Magnamut will actually search for a Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Now Firewall is online again, so we'll draw for turn. Now on board we already have enough for game, so we can use White Binder's Ignition effect. Set this. Firewall Dragon can bounce their cards and then we can just attack. If they do some stuff in the battle phase, we have access to this. We can banish for cost, search for a card, and then banish whatever card they summon. This will summon itself back, trigger again, and then we will banish 1, 2. Only need to banish 2. So Ransom will come back. I use the effects because why not? And then yeah, these will be at 5-3 each, so then that'll definitely be a game 100%. So yeah, so I really like this version of the deck. Very versatile combos and deceptively strong. Follow-up is really crazy because you also have Wyver Buster, which can banish, you know, one of your links in the graveyard to make a comeback, and then you got Levianeer, which can shuffle something from your opponent's hand back into the deck, or if you banish a light monster, it can actually destroy 2 cards your opponent controls non-targeting. So that's some really strong follow-up. It should definitely be game like on the next turn. So the next combo is Dormouse and Levianeer. We'll just go normal summon Dormouse. We'll do the usual thing, get your rabbit's effect, summon TB11. At this point we will actually link summon not very classic, but it's one of my favorites, Cherubini. So Cherubini sends a level 3 monster from the deck to the graveyard for cost. Right, so obviously we will send our last Malice monster, Cheshire Cat, and I don't know if you noticed, but we have 3 dark monsters in the graveyard. So banish all 3 and then summon Chaos Dragon Levianeer. So you've only triggered your White Rabbit, so we can go chaining 1, 2, 3, 4 Levianeer. So 3 for Levianeer. Levianeer will shuffle a random card from the opponent's hand into the deck. So if you're lucky and they had a Nibiru, there's a 1 in 5 chance of actually hitting the Nibiru. Alright, so summon these back and shuffle a random card from your opponent's hand back into the deck. I think it's a random card. I don't think they choose. So summon these back. So next what we will do is we will link away these 2 into your Red Ransom. Red Ransom's effect. We will add our fuel spell. Underground, and then next we can use Levianeer since it's not a Cyberus, and then we will make an early Appaloosa. Next we will activate Underground, banish the Red Ransom, it will summon itself back, banish our boy Dotscaper. Right, banish the Dotscaper comes back. Yeah, this is all a very normal stuff. Next we will go for Splash Mage. Splash Mage will revive something, and then we will go into White Binder, and then let's check the graveyard. Nothing really needs to be banished here, so we won't banish anything. Next we will activate White Binder's other effects, so we will set our GWC 06, and since we haven't used this one, right, we haven't used TB11 yet, we'll banish the White Binder, and we will summon we're gonna summon Rabbit from the deck. And then next we'll trigger the White Binder, we'll summon and draw a card, and then now we can trigger White Binder's effect. We can just banish TB11, just preparing for an OTK on the next turn. So now you have some options. So I like actually going for Masquerena, but that could leave you open to being hit with an impermanence on your opponent's turn, which would actually suck because Binder's here. So we'll just go for Masquerena, nothing too hectic. We do have access to this, which can revive Rabbit, and then we can trigger Rabbit's effect. So it's not all too bad if they negate Masquerena. So we could summon it over here, just in case of something like Anima. Right, so we'll end our turn with so there's a 2-card combo, so we have 4 cards in our hand. Right, so we have 4 cards in our hand, and we have a number of disruptions. Right, now it's the opponent's turn. Opponent does some stuff. Opponent does things. And so you can either go for SP Little Knight, or you can go for Firewall Dragon. It really depends on what your opponent is playing. If you're playing against something like Ryzial, maybe going for SP Little Knight is very good, because you can negate their monsters with Appaloosa, and then you can actually remove them from the field with SP Little Knight. You can remove two monsters. You can chain to their XYZ, to your drive. You can chain to their searcher to banish it. And then since it doesn't detach any materials, it can't search for anything. You can also do the same thing with Firewall, I guess. You can just bounce it to the extra deck. So you do have options, but I personally like going for like Firewall Dragon that can't be destroyed by card effects, because you do have access to this to revive your white binder. Alright, so opponent does stuff. We'll activate Masquerena, and then we will go for our boss monster, Firewall Dragon. We'll go for Firewall Dragon, and then we can activate GWC 06. We can revive binder and then gain 2300. On the next chain, we can trigger binder and we can banish ransom. We got tons of space here. So we can banish ransom. We can banish rabbits, and we can banish maybe Cheshire Cat, so we can draw cards if we have any Malice cards. So then we can put them all on a chain. This is the least important, so chain 3, chain 1, 2, 3, summon 1, 2, 3. We can summon it over here, summon this over here, and then summon this over here. On the next chain, chaining 1, 2, set our trap card, and then we will search for the field spell for some follow-up on the next turn. So we'll set this. All right, so the opponent does some more stuff. We activate this, we banish binder, banish something non-targeting, while also searching for Dormouse. We search for Dormouse and banish non-target. On the next chain, since we didn't use binder's effect, summon itself back, and we will draw a card. Right, at this point we have 7 cards in hand. And then if the opponent still has more plays, can negate, or we can bounce. So let's imagine they don't really have anything left to do. So what you can do is you can either bounce itself with Firewall, so it can bounce itself back, or you can just add some cards back from the graveyard. You can put back Masquerena or something. Most of those options are not really that necessary. So what you could do is you could just add back Legionnaire, add back Dormouse, and then you can just bounce the Firewall back to the extra deck. All right, return the Firewall back to the extra deck, or bounce like an opponent's monster, whichever is fine. All right, so it's the next turn, and yeah, you can just do the same thing with white binder. Set this, activate it, banish for cost, search, summon back and draw, trigger its effect, banish these two. This is 5/3, 5/3. That's 10-6 attack. You don't really need to do anything like really fancy. Legionnaire can also shuffle back another random card from the opponent's hand if you have 3 dogs in the graveyard, or if you kept Firewall on the field. You could have just done something like go into access code talker, and then yeah, you have a light monster here, target Firewall, summon Legionnaire, banish 3. One of them is a light monster, destroy 2 cards non-targeting, and then access code talker can still destroy 2 more cards. And then that is more than enough for game. You can't attack, but yeah. So really insane stuff. I really like this chaos version of Malice. It's got some really interesting plays. It can actually play through like a bunch of like disruptions. It's very resilient. Yeah, it's a very nice variant of the deck. So next up, we will take a look at the deck profile very quickly. A few cards that are very different from the Cyberus extra deck version. Now let's take a look at a combo featuring Dormouse and Lubellion. So do the normal combo, Dormouse into Rabbit's effect, TB11, and then we can actually go for Cherubini. Cherubini will dump Cheshire Cat to the graveyard. We can go Lubellion, Magnum's effect, banish the Cheshire Cat, chaining 1, chain 2, because we need this to come back. Right, we still haven't used the Dormouse's banishment effect, so what we could do next is we could just go Lubellion, use Lubellion's effect, and then we can activate our Branded Regained straight from the deck, and then we can turn these 2 into our Red Ransom. Right, Red Ransom's effect. Red Ransom will fetch our Malice Underground. Right, so we still have a live Dormouse in the graveyard. That's Underground, and then we can either use this or use Malice Underground. Either is fine, I think. So we'll just go for Appaloosa, just to shut down any like potential Nibiru's. Right, then we'll go for Underground, and we will banish our Ransom, Red Ransom. Red Ransom will trigger, summon itself back, and also banishing that Scapegoat. That Scapegoat will come back. All right, so next up we can actually do this. We can actually summon SP. All right, we can summon SP Little Knight, use its effect. Since we haven't used Dormouse, we can banish Dormouse and then summon itself back, and then we can use Dormouse and SP. I will make white binder. So what we can do is we can just leave the first effect for now, and then we can use the second effect to set GWC06 from the deck. And then next up, we'll activate our TB11 since we haven't used it yet. TB11 will just summon something from the deck. Let's just summon White Rabbit from the deck, and then White Binder will trigger, we'll summon it back, and then also we will draw a card. And so now you can trigger White Binder's effect to banish. So we can banish TB11 and we can banish SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight this will trigger, and we can put back the SP Little Knight in the extra deck, and then we can draw another card. It might actually, yeah, so we can draw another card, and then the last thing we can do is we can turn the two of these into Firewall Jack, and then in the end phase we summoned Magnamut, so we can actually get a search. So I like to search for Ball Drake. Because you can get rid of some of your extra monsters. You don't really have a way of triggering the other one. Alright, so you end your turn with 6 cards in your hand. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we went plus 6, but on the opponent's turn is where we like to play. Alright, so the opponent goes, got a number of options on the opponent's turn. We got a number of options. So one of your options is this one, so GWC 06. Because you have Baldrake in your hand, you don't actually have to activate GW06. You're not forced to activate it, which is nice, which is very nice. And yeah, you do have a lot of freedom to when you want to actually summon back your White Binder to trigger its effects. Let's imagine, so the opponent is doing some stuff, they're doing some things, they got some monsters on the board, so we just activate Baldrake. Use this effect to banish White Binder. Since we have Apollosa on the field, we can just negate Ash Blossom. If they have something like Dominus Impulse, then they can actually negate the White Binder. But it's not really a big deal because we can just summon it with GWC 06. That's one of the nice things about having it. So if they try to negate it, we can just summon it anyways with this card. So we'll trigger the binder and then try to summon the binder and then draw a card, binder's effect, and then we will trigger its on summon effect. We actually do want to draw off of this one, so we'll just activate White Binder. We can banish 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3 cards we can banish. We can banish 3 cards, and then we'll trigger our effects. So think this is the least important, so we'll just go 1, 2, 3. If they stop this, again, we've got this. Right, so we've got our 3, summon back, we won't banish anything. Right, we've got our 2, and then 1 puts back Cherubini, just because we can. And then we will draw a card, next chains, chaining 1, 2. We will set GWC07, MTP07, and then we will search for another copy of our field spell card, Sonogram. So now the opponent tries to do some things. So you can use Baldrake's effect. Yeah, if you haven't used Firewall's effect, I guess you could use Firewall first to disrupt the opponent. You can use Firewall to disrupt the opponent and then also add back some cards. So for example, we can just add back Dormouse, Cheshire Cat, and then bounce a card, Firewall, trigger Baldrake's effect, and then we can sack the White Binder action, and then we can banish the extra deck monster. And yeah, if they summon something, we can activate Regain's effect to summon Magnamut. Magnamut will allow us to search in the end phase, and then we also still have access to MTP07. We can banish the rabbit and then banish something non-targeting. Yeah, so let's imagine they had a threat. Banish this, search for the last Dormouse, banish non-targeting. So let's imagine they're out of place. In the end phase, we've got our Magnamuts to add. So we can add Chaos Dragon Levianeer. The opponent will end their turn. So this is the end of the opponent's turn. We have the 3 cards that we opened with on our turn, and then we've got all these cards that we searched and drew. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards in hand. So we've got 12 cards in hand and we've got 8 cards on the field. So this is just using the engine, no maxis or anything like that. So yeah, this is some crazy advantage. And we still have this card that we can activate starting our turn off. So we just draw for turn and we can use this to summon back our White Binder, and then we can trigger its effect to banish some stuff, or we could just be patient, stand by main phase. You can just do something like, I don't know, you can just use the 4 of them. You can go into access code Talker, target Firewall Dragon. Then you can just banish. You can banish Binder, pop a card non-targeting. Binder will trigger. If they negate Binder, you can just summon it anyways. Binder comes back, and then you draw a card again, and then use Binder's effects. Firewall, Ransom, and yes, White Rabbit's fine. So banish these, and then you'll trigger this, put Firewall back, draw a card, and then Ransom will come back. So Ransom come back, Rabbit comes back. You can use Ransom to search for the last field spell card. Now all of this is very extra, of course. All this is very extra. This is more than enough for game. And then you've still got, like, you've basically got half your deck in your hand, which is pretty insane. That is the power of the Chaos Malice deck. Pretty sick stuff. Really crazy combos. So for the monster lineup, we have 3 Dormouse, 3 Rabbits, and 1 copy of Cat. This is a pretty much standard lineup. Yeah, some people use 2 cats, which I think is okay. But if you're playing a bunch of other like engines and tech cards and stuff, you don't really have the room to be playing more than 1 cat, because it doesn't actually do anything by itself. So you're not actually making the deck more consistent by adding cats. And then we have the Chaos engine. We've got your Collapse Serpent, Wyver Buster, Levianeer, right? Just 1/1/1. You don't actually need more than 1 copy of each one. I know in the TCG they're limited, in the OCG they're unlimited, but you actually need a little bit of like setup to use them. So 1 is fine. Hard drawing Levianeer is fine, as I showed you in the combos. Drawing 1 is fine, you can still use it, and the combo is slightly better if you do actually draw it, and then you also get to shuffle back a random card from your opponent's hand, which is very nice. And then the Bysteals, so we're playing three Bysteals. Yeah, I think if you're not playing any like other like heavy like tech engines, you should be playing like standard three Bysteals in the deck. I don't see a reason like not to. They pair greatly with your Malice monsters. And then obviously 1 Lubellion, you can search for it in this deck. You play Chaos Space, so Lubellion is nice to have. And then the last monster, Dotscaper, right? Also standard. And then for the hand traps, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom, and 3 Effect Veiler. We took out the 4 Aros for Effect Veiler because Effect Veiler is light, so it helps with your chaos part of the engine, also with Chaos Space. And I don't actually like 4 Aros in the main deck, to be honest with you, because yeah, like if you're going first and you open with 4 Aros, it doesn't actually do anything. And if your opponent hand traps you, then your 4 Aros is not actually going to help you against your opponent, because you most likely have something on the field when they hand trap. So the 4 Aros is just like dead in your hand. Tenpai always goes second, so it makes sense for them to main deck like 3 copies. But a lot of other decks main decking more than 1 copy. Well, 1 copy as like a cross-out target. Main decking more than 1 copy, I think, is actually a deck building like mistake, and I think more people will realize it as the format goes on. So decks like Tenpai and Ryzial, they can make use of it going first as well. 4 Aros is level 4, so you can use it for rank 4 plays in Ryzial. But otherwise, I don't think it's good to play 3 copies of it in this deck. Maybe 1 as a cross-out target, but yeah, I think going forward I might actually not play 3 copies of 4 Aros in the main deck, because it's just I'm just drawing it too much going first, and if I get hand trapped, it does nothing. Spell cards. All right, 1 copy of Branded Regained. If you choose to search for Lubellion, you can use Regain to actually recycle your extra deck monsters into a card, especially Link Decoder, because it banishes itself, so you'll be able to just recycle it into a card, gaining like extra advantage, which is like excellent. And then you got your talents, cross out, Call by the Grave, standard hand trap, anti-hand trap cards, and then playing the Gold Sock. And then for the search/engine cards, triple Chaos Space. This is an OCG list, so we still have this card at 3, so we play 3 copies. TCG, you have to play 1 copy, which I think is still fine. I think the engine is still worth playing if you only have like 1 copy of this. And when I test TCG, I just played with one copy, and it's fine, to be honest. 3 copy of Underground, and then the last cards, 1 Imperm. I took 2 of them out for Veilers, and then your Malice trap cards are the last 3 cards. So 40 card deck. Now we will take a look at the extra deck. Now for the extra deck, Lun-Gi-Oh, pretty standard, I think. Link Decoder, 1 copy, Striker Dragon, and Seals. So these are the only like Dragon Link monsters we're actually playing. Striker Dragon, just to trigger your Collapse Serpent and Wyver Buster, and then Seals combined with Firewall Dragon. Yeah, pretty nuts, you know, basically allowing you to get the Bysteals straight to your hand after summoning them with Seals. So that is pretty crazy stuff. And then Masquerena. And then obviously Cherubini, we used it in the combo. 1 Splash Mage, SP Little Knights, 1 White Binder, Red Ransom, and then Transcode Talker, and then Hearts of Cryptor. Didn't show off Hearts of Cryptor but it is one of your options for your Masquerena when you link summon. Some people cut it. I don't think it's a good idea to cut it. The card is just like too good, especially under Shifter, in my opinion. And then the last 3 cards, Appaloosa, Firewall Dragon, and Access Code Talker. You're not playing a bunch of the Cybers stuff, so you do have a lot of space in the extra deck, so you can actually main deck your Access Code Talker. You could still play this engine by cutting some cards. Like for example, you can cut Transcode Talker because you don't really need it in a lot of your combos. You're actually going for like the Appaloosa lines instead of the Cybers lines. They're actually just better because with the Cybers lines, they leave you really open to be, you know, like Nib. No opponent can just like hold in Nibiru, and then they can just like sack all your setup at the end. So Nib is actually very strong against this deck. You basically need to have like a second combo card to play through Nib. So yeah, you could take this out, and you could side deck Access Code Talker, and then you could take out, I guess you could side also Lun-Gi-Oh. You could side it, and then you could put in this engine if you really want to play it in the main, because there's nothing that really conflicts. You just make this guy with Cybers monsters, and then you can have like Appaloosa plus him if you really want. So that's also still an option with the deck. But yeah, that is the extra deck. Anyway, that's it for the deck. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.